Hi everyone, I am Akshat Bahety and today we're going to talk about Lovable's biggest updates, cloud and AI. These are two features that were just simply bound to happen. But I want to still play this one small clip so that you guys remember what we are talking about.
Inevitable.
And that's pretty much it. Because the point is, this was bound to happen. Lovable wanted to be the app that builds everything else for the future. And this is what they have introduced. Okay, they have introduced Lovable Cloud, which is technically their setup of building a whole backend. So in case you want to add an authentication, so that sign in with Google button that you see, you can build that directly. You can save data and files. You don't have to worry about how the backend works or how any of that works. You just prompt it to build it, and we're going to see in a second the demo about it. And then the another option that they have started is about Lovable AI. Now you might be like, again, that's such a stupid name, Lovable AI. And the reason that exists is because it can now bring AI to your app by managing the API keys and everything else themselves. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to figure out, okay, I want to add a chat window here with AI. How do I do that? You just tell it and it does everything else. It's literally all in a single place. So let's get started and see how this actually works. Now, very simply, I have given an app that I've really wanted to build for a very long time, which is a build a comic book generator with login features. And every time I tell it a story, it should generate 8 to 10 image panels of a comic book. So it started with the plan, and very simply, it gave me this option, which is the newest option. And you can see the cloud thing written here, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so you guys can see it. It built in backend, add an LLM to your app, and free to start and pay as you scale. So right now, I'm just going to click on allow, and then once that is there, again, and you can see it is allowed and it's going to start building now. And I believe this will take probably a bit more time compared to normally just building the UI part of things, because guys, setting up a backend is not as easy as seems. Okay, so let's go through the steps here. What is happening, right? Again, step number one, it enables AI, right? Again, and then now it's modifying the database here, right? Again, so the modified database, and I think it's going to keep continuing doing that. We're going to walk through all the steps once it's completed, so we actually see what's happening. Perfect. So we've got a very bad UI, and I think again, not very bad. It's just too comic based, right? Again, but that's fine. Again, I did not give it enough prompts. So before I walk into that, I just want to test it out. I've not even created a single account. So let's see what happens if I try to write again. Come, and then I'm going to enter password. I don't think it has any password validation. Account created. Okay. Let's see what happens. Oh my god. Okay, if you don't understand the excitement on my face right now, let me tell you, this is not supposed to happen. Just the idea that you can create this in a second with login, I know it seemed like the easiest thing to do. It is, but the point that it happened automatically without me doing anything is crazy. So let's think if this works. Okay, so we're going to test a very simple story. Rabbit and the tortoise story in 21st century. A rabbit modified with robotic arms and legs is running against a tortoise from the Dragon Ages. I don't know how this comic is going to be. Let's see. Generating comic. And this is going to be the test about is going to be, I want to check out the history thing. Does it actually save my comic? I want to see if it is actually able to create it. Okay. And you see that's the thing. Edge function returned a non 200 error. And this was not supposed to happen. But okay. Not a good start, Lovable. Let's see. But again, I'm fine. Again, probably because I might have run out of credits. Again, it did not work in the first shot, right? Again, so that could be again, ton of reasons. I might be out of credits also, so I upgraded the credits, right? Again, so right now it's technically supposed to be free, but let's see. And we are getting a function return mode. So if you guys can't see, this is the error that I'm getting as an error. Now, the way to see this is actually cool because I can actually show you how it is. So you see at the top, there are two buttons now, code and cloud. I'm going to click on cloud and you see all the options here. Now, I get it, again, if you're seeing this for the first time and you're not an engineer, you will be like, what the hell is this? But here is where technically we're getting all the issues and you are getting the error, right? And this is not good. And I'm going to just simply copy and paste this. Now, this is not good because the point is I should not need to do this, right? And I'm going to paste this here. Error in edge function, fix it, right? I'm going to come back here and enter this, but this is not good because I technically should have got a function to fix it right there, like a button as it comes when we try to fix a UI. It should have given me a button right there. So that's probably again, this is the first day that they've launched it, literally 3 hours ago. So okay, I'll give it to them. Let's see. If it fixes it in one shot, that's pretty cool, because if I have to keep prompting it multiple times to explain how to fix this, that is not going to be a good start of the day. So let's see. But till that's happening, let me show you a couple of options that you can look into here. So users is where you have your users signing in. So as you can see, it's just a simple sign in with an email and password. You can also enable Google if you want to. So that's just going to it's going to require some configuration from the Google side, because again, it's not directly integrated. Email is pretty simple. So basic email is already there. You can allow anonymous users. You can disable sign up. You also have some advanced stuff about URLs and everything else, and you can do that. You're going to come back, and then you can see the signups also. They have, I think, a small dashboard. I believe it will be just me right now. Yes, one new users, and that's my email. And then you have database, right, which is the database of your app, so the comics that are created and everything else. You have the storage here. You can see once people upload files and stuff, and the edge function, which technically should be working but is not. And as you can see, it's trying to fix it. And then you have secrets here, which are again, API keys for different apps, right? And you can add them. Right now it just has lovable API key. So let's see, it might also need another API key for it to create the whole comic, right? So let's see, I'm just going to paste this here and see what's going to happen, right? It technically should be creating a comic using Gemini Nano. That's what I asked it to do. If it does not do that, I'm going to ask it to do that again. But let it run till then, and you can see we can see the logs here also, which is technically what's happening on the database and everything else. So you get again the backend here itself. I'm pretty sure they're using Supabase because that's how it looks like, and the edge functions and everything is obviously 100% Supabase is being used. Let's see what happens here. We've not got an error till now, so really hope this works. And it would be pretty cool if in just 2 prompts I can have a comic creator, which would have taken at least another 3 to 4 hours even after generating the UI to fix it. So I will take that as a win. Let's see what happens. Okay, not a good start, right? Again, I now haven't got anything again, create your first comic. It's just still there. If I try to paste this, I don't know what's happening, so I am going to need to debug it. I'm not happy. Let's see. I'm not going to bore you guys with it, so give me a second. Okay, perfect. We finally got something. It took a decent amount of time for me to fix this. I can just keep asking it because I didn't want to see, but it does come out with a pretty cool comic. Again, this is all generated by Gemini Nano, so that is with Lovable, but there is still some issues, it does not show up the comic here. It shows up in history after refreshing a couple of times. But if you see this, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool as a comic, again. And I can download the images. I can save the image as, and I'm pretty sure you guys can see, I'm right clicking and I can save the image. I can probably ask it, create a download to PDF button, which puts comic page 1 to the last page in a Instagram page PDF size. Because I can post this creator directly again, and this looks pretty cool. So if I click on here, right, again, you can actually see the database has a comic, 1 row created, right, which is the new comic, and it does store everything in the backend, right? Again, I will also start I can ask it to store the actual images. Right now it's storing it as a base 64 format. Now again, I don't want to make it super technical, but again, this exists. Again, you have the database here, you have the story import, you have the panels and everything else, and you it's right now storing it as a base 64 image, which is not great, but again, I'll take it to get started, given that this again, prototyping. We can ask it to make it better and stuff. I still believe there is room for improvement, right? Again, just because very simply again, it should not have this thing again, that I need to figure out the edge function. I had to go ahead and check it. I do believe if you're launching something this big, it should just work out of the box, and given that this was a pretty simple use case, there is room for improvement. Second thing is, I don't like the pricing structure a bit more, again, very simply because, and I should check this if this download PDF works. Let's see. And I'm not sure if you guys can see. Oh, perfect. It even added perfect, my carrot powered and everything else, and then everything else, and it added again, I like this, it added this. I can ask you to probably modify the comic panels a bit and make it look a bit more like comic, but that's fine, again, that's for another thing, and I'll probably try to improve this a bit. But the one thing that I don't like is the pricing, given that if I just click on this, and you can select this and select on project settings. So once you come to the project settings, in the usage part, very simply, it will show you how much usage of AI you have done, and that's fine, but I want to understand how much are they adding cost on that. I don't like to pay for services like so because they're using Google models. Directly I'm happy to pay Google directly for whatever the actual cost is rather than paying to Lovable for that extra bit of cost so that they can make money. Like I'm happy to pay for the subscription but not this, and I think they will go ahead with that. Cloud usage, this is fine. This is dependent on like Supabase projects. I do like this because in Supabase you could not run after $20, right? Again, you had to buy a plan worth $20 after 2 projects, so this is good. But let's see, like again, right now not very sure where we are going to get to this, but let's see how this happens, right? Again, and then again you can check this out and you can always select the tools, and if you want to always allow, or you can ask it to change stuff, you can do that. And you also have other options available here. I think this is super cool. Like again, just that again, you also have like a couple of things that you want to change and everything else. You can go ahead a bit detailed on that. If you're interested to get a full tutorial on this, I'll be happy to make something like that actually like again is a bit more professional than a comic generator, but this looks cool, and I'm going to drop the link below so you guys can check it out, and do check it out. And if you're interested to learn how to build with AI, you can join our community. And if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. It really takes a second and does not cost you anything. Till then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.